Alright fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about the new Spider-Man game trailer that came out. Being a huge fan of Spidey myself, I figured I'd have to give my thoughts on it and everything like that. So, you know, because I played all the other Spider-Man games. Wasn't really a fan of, what was it called? Shattered Dimensions all that much, but I was a real big fan of Edge of Time, the one that came out before that, and I played all the old Activision games and everything like that. So, one thing I will say, the video in this made the gameplay look fun as hell. It looks like they finally got Spidey's movement down right, because the way he was jumping, flipping, running on walls, it just looked like, you know, as if you was watching like a CG Spider-Man movie. You know, looked really great. I have no qualms about how it looks, except for that fucked up costume that they gave him. I don't know what they were going for with that. I don't know if this is gonna be kind of like maybe they're doing their own thing, maybe they're doing their own separate Spidey universe kind of sort of thing, and this is just the original costume that they wanted to go with. I don't know why they would make that change, because it's, I mean, you know, his original outfit is so iconic, so I don't see why. That's like changing Superman's outfit and making him like dressing all white just to do it. It kind of sort of, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to turn off a lot of people. I'm pretty sure they're going to more than likely have alternate costumes in the game, so I know the moment I get one of the costumes that I like when I'm playing the game, when I'm doing a Let's Play of it, I'm going to damn sure switch from that original fugly costume that they got. But besides that, they didn't show any like actual gameplay, you know, so it looks like it was mostly CG stuff. However, if that was gameplay, then I remember those car robbing chase scenes might come back. It looks like a lot of the content in the trailer may be story related, because a lot of the goons and stuff that they were showing, they look like, I think there were people from Mr. Negative's crew, because they had the same masks on that his bad, you know, not his bad guys, but his crew wore in the comics. They made him look a little bit different, but his crew was like the only crew that I could remember wearing masks like that. Unless they're doing their own thing story-wise, where they're just, you know, taking maybe main bad guys, but running the ball with their own original idea, which I wouldn't have a problem with. It would be something cool to see. I'm personally, even though I love it to death, I'm tired of stuff being related to the, you know, to the symbiote, you know, costume and all of that stuff that's been in like the past few games. I mean, I love the symbiote costume as much as anybody else, but there's only so much of it I can take when Spidey has all these other costumes that he used, you know, it's like, come on. But I think it's going to be really good. Insomniac are developing it. I think they're the same people who made Infamous, if I could be wrong. I haven't looked it up. I meant to do it before I started recording, but it is what it is. If they're not the same people, then they should be. Because they, from what they had in this trailer, it looks badass as hell. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It looks that good. You know, this game to me, just judging by what the trailer, you know, offers, if the gameplay isn't like completely bland and stale when it comes to the combat, that's the only thing that I can see what could bring this down, is because the game could look really good and the CG cutscenes could look really good, but if the combat and the gameplay, I'm sure it's going to probably be open world and have side quests. If the side quests aren't the same 3 side missions over and over and over again, and if the combat isn't like, oh, XXX, oh, spider sense to dodge an incoming blow, press Y, you know, if it isn't something that simple, then I can see this game really, really being the, how would I describe it? Kind of like how the Arkham Asylum games were for Batman. I can see this being the Arkham Asylum Spider-Man game, if you guys understand, you know, the meaning of what I'm getting at. How those became like the definitive Batman games because they were so good. You know, I have the feeling that this could be the definitive Spider-Man game, because Spider-Man games have had a hard time finding their place. You know, every game tries to do something a little bit differently. I remember when the Spider-Man 1 movie came out, they had a game oh, let's make it open world, let's have him web sling around, because before that, Spidey never did know it wasn't open world because they couldn't do it. You know, the old school Activision games were all linear based. Yeah, you could web sling, but you didn't have the city. You know, that was the big, the real big thing with Spider-Man 1. And then Spider-Man 2 came out, and the big thing was, they tried to make realistic web shooting. And the web swinging and stuff had really, really great controls, and then they fucked that all up with Spider-Man 3. And then they tried to make it simplistic, and they ended up ruining it, and everybody damn near hated that game. But ever since then, every game that's come out, let's say like Edge of Time, they tried to do, a linear mission-based Spider-Man game. Ultimate Spider-Man was the cel-shaded experimental game. It was kind of sort of open world with the same boring side missions all day. Shattered Dimensions, a mission-based linear game that had different story elements, and they tried to run with their own story. And then then you got like this one. So they've never had a staple like, okay, if you're gonna make an open world Spider-Man game, I think the closest staple that they had was Spider-Man 2. Try to make it like that and then go from there, So this game, if they could, now that they have the technology to do the open world the right way, the only other thing that I could think that would hold this game down, like I said, will be side quests. The developers have to come to terms with making a really, really great creative experience. They can't just have the story missions be good and then the side quests suck ass. Because if you do that, you're doing the side quests a whole lot more than the main story. That's the same thing in any open world game. The reason why GTA has such a great, feel when you're playing it is because they give you all of these great side activities you can do when they try to make it, well, I'm gonna say as realistic as possible, but they make it fun. And that's something that this game has to come to grips with. You have to understand you're making a comic book game. And a lot of times with the older Spider-Man, material in the games, they try to either stick with the movie storyline or, something from the comic book. They will take like a story from the comic book and tweak it around and twist it and everything like that. But this game, I really do hope that it can really become like I said, the Arkham Asylum of Spider-Man games. If they can just do that, I mean, this game will probably be like the greatest Spider-Man game ever made. But anyway, fellas, that's just my opinion on the new trailer. My name has been Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.